The Pacific Ocean, vast, unforgiving, a churning cauldron of raw, untamed power. It can be a serene expanse of blue, a mirror to the heavens. But beneath its shimmering surface lurks a primal fury, a capacity for violence that makes even the bravest soul tremble. It is here in this realm of towering waves and howling winds that the story of Josh Salvador El Varenga unfolds, a testament to human resilience in the face of unimaginable adversity. November 17, 2012, a day etched in Josh's memory. It began like countless others, the salty tang of the ocean air a familiar comfort as he prepared his small fishing boat. He was joined by Ezequiel Cordoba, an acquaintance eager to earn a share of the day's catch. Their destination, the open waters off the coast of Mexico, a familiar hunting ground for the experienced fishermen. Little did they know, fate had a cruel hand to play. The sea, calm just hours before, transformed into a raging beast. A storm, as if conjured from a nightmare, descended upon them with terrifying speed. The sky turned a sickly green, the wind howling like a banshee. Waves, towering walls of water, crashed over their small vessel. The engine, overwhelmed by the relentless assault, sputtered and died. They were adrift, at the mercy of the storm's fury. Days bled into nights, the storm an ever-present tormentor. Food and water ran perilously low. Their bodies, battered and bruised, clung to life. But Josh, drawing on a wellspring of determination, refused to surrender. He fashioned makeshift fishing lines from scraps, his hands raw and bleeding. He caught birds, their flesh providing meager sustenance. When rain blessed them with its life-giving touch, they drank deeply, savoring every drop. As weeks turned into months, despair gnawed at their sanity. The relentless sun beat down, baking their skin. Hunger became a constant companion, thirst a tormenting fire. Ezequiel, his spirit broken by the ordeal, began to fade. He refused to eat, slipping further into a dark abyss. Josh, helpless to save his companion, watched in horror as Ezequiel succumbed to the sea's cruel embrace, taking his last breath beneath the unforgiving sun. One day, a speck on the horizon, a ship. Josh's heart leapt at the sight. It was a distant silhouette, but unmistakable, a vessel that could mean salvation. Hope, like a phoenix, rose from the ashes of despair. The days of endless drifting, the nights of cold and fear, all seemed to fade away in that moment. Josh, his heart pounding with anticipation, screamed and waved frantically. His voice, hoarse from days of shouting into the void, now carried a new urgency. He waved his arms, trying to catch the attention of anyone on board. But his cries were swallowed by the wind, the relentless gusts that had been his constant companion. The wind, which had once been a source of hope, now seemed to mock his efforts. His desperate pleas lost in the vastness of the ocean. The endless expanse of water, which had once seemed so beautiful, now felt like a prison. The horizon stretched out infinitely, a reminder of his isolation. The ship, oblivious to the minuscule speck of humanity clinging to life, sailed on. It moved steadily, purposefully, unaware of the life it was leaving behind. Josh watched in despair as the vessel grew smaller and smaller, leaving Josh in a silence more deafening than the roar of the storm. The calm sea around him felt like a cruel joke, a stark contrast to the turmoil within. He sat back down, his hope extinguished, feeling more alone than ever before. The vast ocean, once a symbol of endless possibilities, now felt like an insurmountable barrier. Josh's spirit, once buoyed by the sight of the ship, now sank deeper into despair. The silence was overwhelming, a reminder of his solitude and the fragility of hope. The ocean, once a source of livelihood, now felt like a prison. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The sun and the salt were his constant companions, the only witnesses to his struggle. He marked the passage of time by the rising and setting of the sun, each day an eternity. The sea, relentless in its grip, seemed determined to claim him as its own. The word land echoed in his mind, a beacon of hope in the vast, unforgiving expanse of the ocean. For days, weeks, and months he had been adrift, a solitary figure battling the elements, clinging to life on a makeshift raft. And then, a miracle. The sun rose, casting a golden hue over the calm sea, a sight that had become both a comfort and a torment. Each sunrise marked another day of survival, another day of hope dwindling, a speck on the horizon, different this time. His eyes, weary from the relentless glare of the sun and the salt of the sea, squinted against the light. Was it a mirage? His heart dared to hope. Not the sleek silhouette of a ship, but something low and green. It was unlike anything he had seen in months. The endless blue had finally given way to a promise of life, a promise of land. As he drifted closer, hope surged through his weary body. His hands, calloused and cracked from the harsh conditions, gripped the edges of the raft with renewed strength. His heart pounded in his chest, each beat a drum of anticipation. It was an island, a sliver of land in the endless blue, a tropical paradise, untouched and pristine, a stark contrast to the desolation he had endured. The sight filled him with a sense of wonder and relief. His legs, atrophied from months at sea, could barely support him. Each movement was a struggle, a battle against his own weakened body. But the sight of land gave him the strength to push forward. But fueled by an almost primal urge, he stumbled onto the beach, collapsing on the sand, a free man. The grains of sand beneath him felt like a promise, a new beginning. He lay there, breathing in the scent of the earth, feeling the warmth of the sun on his skin, and for the first time in months, he allowed himself to believe in the possibility of survival, of life beyond the endless blue. He was found by two islanders, their faces etched with surprise at the sight of this skeletal figure, a man who seemed to have emerged from the very depths of despair. The islanders, accustomed to the serene and predictable rhythms of island life, were unprepared for such a shocking discovery. His hair long and matted, a testament to the many months, perhaps years, he had spent in isolation. Each strand told a story of survival, of enduring the harsh elements without the comfort of civilization. His clothes, tattered remnants of a life left behind, clung to his emaciated frame. They were more than just fabric, they were symbols of a past life, now almost forgotten. The rips and tears in the fabric mirrored the scars on his body and soul. Whisked back to civilization, he was met with a mixture of awe and disbelief. The crowd that gathered to see him was a blend of curious onlookers and empathetic souls, all eager to hear his tale of survival against all odds. His story, a tale almost too incredible to believe, made headlines around the world. Journalists flocked to him, each one vying for an exclusive interview. His face, once lost to the wilderness, now graced the front pages of newspapers and magazines. Yet some doubted his story. In a world where truth is often stranger than fiction, skepticism was inevitable. People questioned the plausibility of his survival, the details of his ordeal, and the authenticity of his narrative. Accusations of fraud, of exploiting the tragedy for personal gain, followed. The man, who had endured so much, now faced a different kind of trial. He stood before the press, his every word scrutinized, his every gesture analyzed. The weight of proving his truth became another burden he had to bear. As the sun set on the horizon, he found a moment of peace by the shore. The waves whispered secrets of the past, and he reflected on his journey. It was a journey of survival, of resilience, and of the unyielding human spirit. Slowly, the community began to rally in support. People who once doubted him started to believe. They saw in him a symbol of hope, a testament to the strength of the human will. His story, once a source of skepticism, became an inspiration to many. Surrounded by supportive friends and family, he began to rebuild his life. The scars of his past remained, but they were now marks of his incredible journey. He had faced the wilderness and emerged stronger, a beacon of hope for all who heard his tale. The ordeal had taken its toll, the physical scars, a constant reminder of his ordeal, the psychological wounds deeper and more enduring, the guilt of survival, the heavy burden of a life spared while another was lost, the whispers, the doubts, the accusations, salt rubbed into the wounds of his experience. The sea in its own way had not yet finished with him. But Josh Salvador El Varenga, the man who stared death in the face and refused to blink, would not be defined by the ordeal. His story, a testament to the indomitable spirit of man, resonated with millions. He had looked into the abyss and emerged, forever changed, but unbroken. His tale, a beacon of hope, proof that even in the darkest depths, the human will to live can prevail.